But this is what's great about fantasy football. It's what you do across the board. He had 206 passing yards. I did have a prop on him, one of the few that I hit on the weekend on the over 200.5. That one cash. He had the one passing touchdown that won at the end of the regulation and sent it to overtime. But what's most important, 8 carries for 95 yards. He's out there messing around, trying to be Lamar Jackson on the field, sprinting all over the place. A guy that was number 7 among all quarterbacks in fantasy value in week number 9. When you look at May, he's number 26 in adjusted completion percentage, number 32 in ADOT. Secondary analytics are rather unsightly, but the rushing stats, I can't get over it. What are your thoughts on him rest of the season? Do you think he's going to be a top 15 fantasy quarterback rest of season?
Yeah, rest of the season, I would say yes. I mean, you got the matchup coming up against the Bears, but after that, it's the Rams, and it's the Dolphins, and it's the Colts, it's the Cardinals, and it's the Bills after that. And the Patriots are a bad football team. They're going to be touchdown dogs in most of these games moving forward, or at least 3.5-point dogs. And the dropbacks are going to be there because they're trailing in the majority of these games. Yesterday, 29 to 41 passing. You brought up the 206 yards. Yeah, the 2 picks hurt a little bit, but threw a touchdown. What I like is what he brings with his legs. I was a big Drake May fan, man. And, that's why I like him behind center opposed to Jacoby Brissett, because the Patriots have one of the worst offensive lines in football. And when the play breaks down, he could actually use those legs. And we saw that again yesterday, not only with the design quarterback runs, but the quarterback scrambles, which are the most efficient play in football. 8 for 95 yesterday. So, yeah, and he also brings some value to guys like Hunter Henry, Ramondre Stevenson. I thought this offense was just going to be like dead in the water the rest of the year, all these guys as far as fantasy options. But Drake May brings new life to that offense. They're not a good team, but they're at least fun, and I think he could be a top 15 or right outside of that range fantasy quarterback the rest of the way because of that.
Yeah, mark me down. Windmill Slam Dunk is going to be top 15 if he is running and showing that duality on a regular basis. And he has done that. He's usually good for 25 to 35 rush yards every week. This 90-plus yard performance is a bit of an anomaly, but you mentioned it. The defense stinks. Catch-up opportunities are going to be frequent, and those additional opportunities presents opportunities to score more fantasy points. So I'm all in on Drake May as the second quarterback. Hell, he could be your primary quarterback during the home stretch of the fantasy football regular season. Let's go to my guy, ILL. Get down with some Chase Brown, baby. Da, 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 da.
What a day, too, right?
Hey! Look, Illinois lost. It was painful, but it was great to see Chase Brown just blow up in the box score. Again, Zach Moss was a scratch. He's going to miss significant time with that neck injury. And Chase Brown is going to be the dude down the stretch from like he was the dude in week number 9. The 5th most valuable fantasy line is what he posted. 27 carries, exhaustive workload, 120 yards, 5 catches, 37, and a receiving touchdown against Las Vegas. Number 30 in yak per attempt, number 28 in missed tackles forced. Tough matchup upcoming against the Baltimore Ravens. You cannot run against that stingy defense, to say the least. But I think he's going to be potentially an RB1 rest of season after this week, given the just volume and, of course, being in a very healthy offensive system. So what's your takeaway on Chase Brown and that mammoth week 9 that he had?
Yep, agree with everything that you said, man. Running back 1 moving forward, especially now after Zach Taylor told the media today that Zach Taylor is going to miss, or he's out indefinitely, so he's going to miss an extended period of time here. You said it, man. I mean, Chase Brown yesterday, 29.7 fantasy points in my one league, 27 carries, 7 red zone attempts, which you like, 79% of the snaps. All of those were career highs yesterday for Chase Brown, who came into this game, I believe, averaging like 4.6 yards per carry, which was 6th among running backs. And now, you got some matchups coming up. You get the Ravens. Right now, they're league best rush defense on Thursday, giving up the fewest rushing yards per attempt, 3.4. But after that, you get the Cowboys. You do get the Chargers. So I think Chase Brown's definitely running back number 1 for probably the rest of the season, man, with this Zach Moss news that we found out and just that performance yesterday and the direction where the Bengals offense is trending. I think the Bengals might go on a little bit of a run here, although I've said that before.
Yeah, and you look at the fantasy playoff schedule for him at Tennessee, yes, and please, and thank you, and the Cleveland Browns after that at home. So
Yeah.
if he could be somebody that gets you to the ship to the title game. Now, difficult matchup in the championship there, taking on the Denver Broncos, but that game still being played in Cincinnati. Look, Chase Brown, man, I tried to tell people this before the season began. All you had to do was look with functional eyeballs that he was far and away the best and most talented back in that backfield in terms of electricity in his leg, the overall juice. He just needed to improve the pass pro, which he has done. And he's also improved the receiving skills, evidenced by the 5 catches and the touchdown reception that he had yesterday. Let's go to Rico Dottle. Bleak situation, obviously, in Dallas. He was a silver lining yesterday, the 9th most valuable running back in week number 9, 12 carries, 75 yards, 5 receptions for 32 and a touchdown in the ATL. You look at the secondary analytics, not that great. Outside the top 40 yak per attempt, and also missed tackles forced. But Rico Dottle's like all they got right now. And because Dallas could be playing from behind in numerous games moving forward, I think there's some sneaky good fantasy value there because of his pass catching ability. You disagree?
No, I actually agree with you, man, because of the pass catching ability and now without Ezekiel Elliott the rest of the way, right? Like that's where Zeke was getting the majority of his reps, which is kind of hard to believe in passing situations. So that was his largest bump in the passing game, 45.5% route participation, his highest of the season, saw 6 targets, which was a 12% target share. Moving forward, they don't have a whole lot of healthy options in Dallas. We don't even know who the starting quarterback's going to be. 61% rostered right now. I like Rico, man. Again, played 71% of Dallas's offensive snaps, 12 of the 15 running back rush attempts. I think that number only goes up from here on out.
And here's what's most important. Opening round of the fantasy playoffs, Dallas gets who? The Carolina Panthers. I know it's a road matchup, but you want a difference maker that can propel you into the second round of the fantasy postseason? Rico Dotto. Rico Arena. He could be Mr. Suave, to say the least. So don't undersell him rest of season. Let's go on to wide receiver. One of the lone bright spots are Chicago Bears. Another embarrassing contest for them. Rome Odunze, down there in the desert, 20th most valuable fantasy wideout in week 9. 7 targets, 5 catches for $104. A guy that seems to be really coming on here at times. Number 26 in yak per reception, 5.2 in the season. Number 8, an average depth of target at 15.8. You look at the Bears and their schedule, and I know Caleb Williams has been a bit of a misadventure here last couple of weeks. But down the home stretch at week 15 at Minnesota, then Detroit at home in week 16, and Seattle at home in week 17. Another guy who I think could be a difference maker during the money-making time of the fantasy football season. Are you a buyer or are you a seller on Rome Odunze?
Yeah, I'm a buyer moving forward, man. I mean, yesterday he was responsible for the Bears' 3 longest plays of the day. Had a reception of 44 yards, 17 yards, and another one of 17 yards. I know he's only got the 1 touchdown catch this season. I don't love the play calling right now. Didn't like what I saw from Caleb, but you get a good bounce back spot coming up week 10 against the New England Patriots. So hopefully for Matt Eberflus, for Shane Waldron, for Caleb Williams' sake, the offense shows much better. So, yeah, I like Rome. Like you said, team high 104 yards, 5 catches yesterday, 6 targets, so the volume was there. I think you at least stick with them the next couple weeks here.